going on? I hope everyone's okay. Welcome to the first series of the minisode. It's just going to be a little minisode that I'm going to be doing. Trying to keep it just small, so it's more interesting, small amount of times. So with that in hand, this first mini episode is just going to be about phasers, and that is literally about it. If I take you on there at the moment, so the little rundown on phasers, if you are new to the game, is that they do have all your beam weapons, all your weapons all have different effects. So with the effects that the phasers have, this does also include cannons as well, but I'm just focusing on the energy type on beams at the moment. They will be the most commonly used throughout the game for people. So if you're viewing the first one it is now, yes, you may not have them at this level, that is absolutely fine. However, you will still get similar effects equivalent to that of the level you are and with the level of the weapons that are. So if you're having a look at this now, so the phaser damage that we have there is actually a little bit higher, mainly because I do have consoles on, so special consoles on, should I say. Really, they are fleet tactical consoles. If I was to take them off, that would actually drop down to about 740 roughly. But with those on top, the game actually stacks these consoles, so it's actually giving you a total amount that you can see there. So that is 1009.3 DPS, so damage per second, with a 250 degree targeting arc, which is basically your standard beams, to be honest. What phasers do is they give a 2.5% chance to a random subsystem offline. It's only roughly for 5 seconds, but that 5 seconds can actually make quite a big amount of difference, to be honest. Which also on this, it also has a minus 9.1 firing power. So all your little subsystems on the left-hand side, next to your health, they're all your subsystems. So it will take that much. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There are some which are a little bit higher, but that's absolutely fine. So what we've got here for today is we have got all these different phasers. So with these phasers, they're all kind of roughly the same. They all roughly do the exact same thing, with the exception for one or two. The first two that we have here are actually, they are just standard phasers. However, one of them is standard orange that you see there, single beam, and the one next to it is a twin phaser beam. Now it actually isn't any more powerful. As you can see there, the damage and everything is all the same. However, cosmetically it is different, but that's literally all it is. So you'll have two phaser beams which are a little bit thinner, but it's just cosmetic. That's it. Obviously, also they will be blue. The next set that we have, which again, it literally, other than the little effects that you see at the top, which can be the plus 4% critical and plus 10% accuracy, they will change depending on what you have sitting here at the top, because they are your they are your perks on the phasers themselves. The higher up they are to epic, the more you're gonna get. So ignore them for now. The basic ones the basic stats finish just below the all foes within 1 kilometer of target. So what we have here is exactly the same details, everything like that. The problem with the Kelvin timeline phasers, this is the big problem with them, is that they actually do have to hit all of those shots, because it's not a phaser beam, so to speak. It looks like cannon shot, but you actually do have to hit all of them, and it's actually tough if you miss some. Unfortunately, you lose that damage, and that's the big downside of them. It's a fact that they look absolutely lovely. That is a big downside of them. You can miss some of those shots, which really is off-putting. But they come off like little red cannon shots, and that is basically all it is. The next ones we have along is the pulse phaser set. I will also say, actually, before I go any further, the Kelvin timeline, the pulse phaser, and the discovery phasers, they are actually all from the lockboxes, but you can all find them on the exchange or open up some of the lockboxes. You never know. So this comes from the Undiscovered Country lockbox, and all it is basically is just exactly the same. It's basically exactly the same, and that's all the phases are. But what I'm showing you is more, you do have the cosmetic changes So do keep an eye out on them as well, which is always really nice. They literally say, as they say on the pulse phaser, it is literally dish. That's all it is really, but it is sort of like a peachy kind of phaser beam by the looks on the looks of it, to be honest. It is a little bit different. The next one is from your Discovery lockbox, which is the weapons they use in the new Star Trek Discovery. If you haven't heard of it, do go and watch it. It's on Netflix, whatever, wherever you are. I think it's also on CBS. I'm sure I saw a post about that the other day. With these, you actually get little perks on there. So you can see a +5 starship hull capacity, +5 starship damage control. But this is the integrity-linked phaser beams. You do also get a sensor and an emitter, and they all have completely different effects. Your sensor are actually the better out of them. And the problem with these phasers has actually been believed, I'm not actually 100% sure on how true it is, but a lot of people seem to believe that they are actually the weaker phasers that you can actually get. If it is true, I mean, unless you're really wanting to do stuff like PvP, it's not really that much of an issue, to be honest. So, you know, advanced PvEs are still going to be pretty easy with them. And they do look pretty nice. They are similar to the pulse phasers, not as quick, but they are blue shots, which is quite nice. I do like a blue phaser, to be honest, and they do actually look pretty good. And the next set, this is actually a mission reward set that you can get from doing the Lucari section on the missions. And so if you haven't unlocked that yet, don't worry, you will get there. So these are quantum phase beams, or the quantum phase beam. It's a little bit different. Unfortunately, you cannot re-engineer this. All the others you can re-engineer, apart from this one, and there are certain others. No, I can re-engineer that one. There it is. I knew it was around this end, the Trilithium Enhanced Omnidirectional Beam. But with this actually has a set bonus, which is what you can see underneath the phase beam at the moment, which is the quantum phase torpedo and the quantum phase converter. So the good thing about these phasers is that when you use all of these all together, you get quite a nice little outcome. You can see down here on the set 2, you've got a 15 accuracy rating, which is, you know, pretty good. You want to be hitting your shots. It doubles the quantum phase weapons shield strain and the high yield torpedo shield heal, which is a very good thing to have, to be honest. And it's actually a pretty nice set to just mix in to all of your loadouts if you're using phasers. It's a pretty nice thing to have. If you are interested in the shield drain, as you can see there, two foes minus 1232.9 shield, all shields in a 2 kilometer radius, so that will drain that amount of shields. So that's really not too bad. It's a nice little set to have. It sounds a little bit different to the rest of the other phase, but they all sound different anyway. But it sounds a little bit more mechanical, which is, you know, it's alright. It looks like electric as well. So this was actually from an event, the Prolonged Engagement Phaser Beam. So what happens with this, it's still got the 250 degree targeting arc. It has only got a 955.6 DPS, but you can't re-engineer it in the same way as you can the other phasers. It does only have this set amount that you can see at the top, which is the AC/damage, or accuracy/damage. Still costs the same amount to use. It applies 1 stack of amplified relays. Per stack, this weapon deals 1% increased damage. Every 5 stacks of amplified relays gain 20% firing cycle haste for this weapon for 8 seconds. Which is pretty good, because if you are just relying, especially if you're doing high missions or you're deciding you want to do PvPs, although it wouldn't be my first choice of weapons to be using for PvP, I would more likely be using Disruptor or Anti-Proton, because they do have the better effects on them, but that will be in another mini episode. It speeds up the fire of weapons, which is pretty good. That's really what you want, to put more and more out, because then you're doing more damage over a certain amount of time. Again, it still has the same effect there, but if the game wanted me to go down, I would have shown you the endurance training. It is a part of the... Let's see if I can get it down there. There we go. Improved damage types, 7.5 recharge time on all bridge officer abilities, which isn't bad. If you're using things like beam overload, you know, that will help help the recharge on that. So you have the omnidirectionals coming up next. This is actually, again, this is a mission reward one. With all omnidirectionals, 360-degree targeting arc. And this one, there is, as you can see up there, you have got that. Your same abilities up there, which you have your accuracy, your damage times 2. It's only 884.5 DPS. If I could re-engineering it, I would be chucking a little bit more damage on there. But it has to have that arc, obviously, because it is that omnidirectional. Same weapon cost, 2.5 chance to gain 10% firing cycle haste for energy weapons for 15 seconds. Again, speeds up your rate of fire. And the 20% accuracy, and then you have your sets here as well, which gives, if you have 2 lots, gives you a 5% firing cycle haste for energy weapons again, plus 15%, plus 15 flight speed, sorry, not percent. Set 3, plus 20% all damage resistance rating, and plus 20 starship hull capacity, which does help, but depending on what type of ship you're using, you may not need to worry about that. This is from a lockbox as well. This is the Undiscovered Country lockbox. This is the omnidirectional. So again, very similar, 979 DPS. It could use with having extra damage on there, but I ran out of dilithium because I was trying to get everything all to the same level so we can all have a look for you. So you've got the same weapon cost. You've got 2 self plus 10 all damage resistance rating for 9 seconds. Isn't bad. 2.5% chance applies phaser transfer, which to the target minus 10 all damage resistance rating for 9 seconds, which is, you know, it's going to benefit you a lot more if they're not resistant against your energy attacks. It's going to help. And the last one is the sensor linked omnidirectional phaser beam. So this is obviously the sensor linked one. As you can see on the one, it's integrity linked. But I was lucky with this and actually got the sensor linked. Which gives a plus 5 starship defense maneuvering, so it improves your defense, and plus 5 starship weapon amplification, which improves critical hit severity with the weapons. And that's what you want. That's what you want. You want your critical hit and your critical severity. It still does your 360-degree targeting arc. As you can see, it's got 1030.8 DPS, but it has got damage times 3 on it, as you can see at the top there. Well, technically times 4 because you've got the accuracy / damage. And plus 10% accuracy. But to be honest, that is actually basically it. That is basically most of them that you can actually get hold of. I did check the reputations. There's no others you can get other than phaser turrets, and I'm not really focusing on phaser turrets at the moment, although I can tell you the phaser turrets are green. But this is basically a whole set of them, to be honest. They all come in different colours, different looks to it, but I will upload at some point. I will upload what they actually look like. It may be the video after this, or maybe the video after that, but I've got to work it all together. So do stay tuned just to see if you can find that. But for at this moment, yes, they all have basically the same effects, other than a few which have different effects because they are actually technically different weapons, but all just containing phaser damage. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you can catch another episode of the mini-series. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.